इस पूरे वीक के थकान को दूर कीजिए with EnActe Talkease, a show that talks exclusively about arts, the performing arts, the value of arts in our life, and how arts and stories and beautiful anecdotes from all across the globe help even the local community come closer to one another. We believe in stories connecting the community. अगर आपको EnActe के बारे में नहीं पता तो मैं आपको बता देती हूँ. EnActe Arts is the most distinguished theatre company in the Bay Area. They've been here for 12 years. They have produced so many plays globally, so many theatrical dramas, musicals they have brought to the Bay Area, and of course also the global audience. And they are expert at bringing and forwarding issues that people often don't talk about. Their values include belonging and to do work that explore identity and acceptance. They do thought-provoking work that inspires conversation and challenges maybe very deep-rooted beliefs and biases, and they empower the community by amplifying the stories and experiences and also bringing forth the voices of the underrepresented. They also believe in collaborating and harnessing the creative power of diversity. तो ये सब चीजें लेके EnActe Arts आया है इस शो को लेके called EnActe Talkease, where we talk about such things and of course we talk about the productions that we do. Aspire है एक नया wing under EnActe, and it's a community theatre initiative where we invite all of you जिस भी way से आप contribute करना चाहे, whether it is through acting, whether it is through producing, whether it is through storytelling, or whether it is through any kind of volunteering work that you perhaps want to devote to the community. The whole mission is around connecting the community through stories and of course giving a platform, and more than giving a platform, sharing a platform with the beautiful artists that we have in the Bay Area. This program is possible and can exist only and only with your love and with your support. And to support us, we have a very, very distinguished guest today amongst us. His name is Professor Devendra Sharma. He is currently a professor of communication at California State University, USA, and he is also a fifth generation performer, writer, and director of the Swang form of Nautanki, Rasleela, Bhagat, and Rasiya, the traditional Sangeet musical theatre genres of northern India. उनके ancestors ने राहस बनाए थे और the musical theatre and made them popular at the Nawab Wajid Ali Shah's court in the mid 1800s. So we are in the presence of royalty, at least royalty regarding the performing arts. तो चलिए करते हैं उनसे कुछ बातें. So how are you doing today, Professor Sharma?
I'm doing very good, Roshni, and thank you for inviting me to this wonderful show.
We are so elated that you are here today with us. We couldn't be more happy. तो मेरे listeners को आपसे थोड़ी सी introduce कराते हैं. So tell my listeners that you're of course so prolific in your art form, but the art form itself I want to talk to you a little bit about. If you can educate my listeners about what is this traditional folk art that if not preserved runs the risk of extinction, and what you're doing to keep it alive and to make it more appealing to the younger generation.
Yeah, thank you for giving me this opportunity to explain it to our wonderful listeners. Nautanki, Swang, Sangeet are different names of the opera of northern India. So not only northern but also western, from Rajasthan to Bihar, and from Haryana, Uttar Pradesh to Madhya Pradesh, and even some parts of Deccan, Nautanki has been the opera. Its older name was Sangeet, not Sangeet, but Sangeet. Sangeet is music and Sangeet is musical, and Swang. Swang means enactment. So it has been going on for hundreds of years, and it is the true descendant of Sanskrit and Prakrit theatre. So when we talk about Sanskrit theatre, we think that Sanskrit theatre and Prakrit theatre has disappeared. But However, it has been continuing in the form of Sangeet and Swang and Nautanki. And it is unfortunate that Western culture has preserved its opera. You go to these beautiful opera houses in Europe and even in New York and other big cities, and they charge you a fortune to go in and watch an opera. However, we unfortunately, like South Asian and Indian culture has forgotten our Indian operas, and it is very important that we preserve them. So this is a little bit of introduction, and it was highly popular, but since we ignored it, it is going down, and we will lose our own opera soon if we do not preserve it. We have to preserve it. It is beautiful. It is like music, singing dialogues, dances, comedy, tragedy, all together. So people also go to Broadway. So it has Broadway as well as European opera. We hear about Mozart, we hear about those great Italian operas, but we have our own operas. And not only Sangeet, in South India we have Yakshagan in Karnataka. And then we have other kind of forms, like in Bengal, we used to have Jatra. Now, Jatra has also become very commercialized.
Yeah.
So we have to preserve. And Nautanki a word is sometimes looked down upon, like people say, oh, Nautanki, I think it's some kind of cheap entertainment, which is a biggest fallacy, which is a biggest lie. Because in name of Nautanki, people have used the name Nautanki for all kind of things. So when audiences don't know about what actual Nautanki opera is, people who are just doing some spicy dance numbers or even film songs sometimes are named as Nautanki. But actually they are not Nautanki. Nautanki is a proper opera in which there are more than 3 dozens of poetical meters like Doha, Chabola, Maan, Shikisht, Kalingada, Chand, Lavni, Langdi Lavni, etc., etc. So each chand or each meter is written and composed by counting even the matras. So, for instance, in the Hindi literature, we read about Goswami Tulsidas Ramayana, and in Ramayana there are chaupai and there is doha, right? And all these chaupais and doha have been written by Goswamiji, counting the matras and syllables. Similarly, and these we are only talking about 2 kind of chand or meters, doha and chaupai. But in Nautanki there are more than 3 dozens. So each chand is written by gurus and ustads, and they are shayars and they are kavis, and they take 1 year to compose an opera. And after 1 year, it is performed. And now this must be sounding like very strange to some of our audiences, because they think Nautanki cannot be like that kind of classical opera. No, but it is. And Nautanki is the new name. The earlier name was Swang and Sangeet. One Sangeet or Swang became so popular, its name was Sangeet Rani Nautankika. So it was based on a princess named Nautanki. And it became so popular that the form itself got the name Nautanki. Like we use it for dalda, like, you can use banaspati ghee. If many of my listeners must be knowing dalda. But you use any banaspati ghee or vegetable oil, but you call it dalda.
Yeah, just like Xerox, right? Like instead of photocopy, we have started using the term Xerox because it was so popular as a brand. So thank you so much, Professor Sharma, for kind of giving us a nice overview in simplistic terms about Swang and about Nautanki. And it's truly a tragedy that Nautanki is sometimes used as a misnomer for indicating film songs or spicy and sizzling numbers. So since you actively perform apart from teaching and of course honing the next generation and educating them about the rich ancient culture and history and lineage of Indian cultural arts and art forms, you actively perform. So what is it that's keeping you busy these days? Like aap kisi production mein kaam kar rahe hain is waqt? Like what's going on in your mind right now?
Yes, I am very busy. I have been involved in many productions. I just returned from India, and we just did something for National School of Drama, Rashtriya Natya Vidyalaya in Delhi. And then I recently created the Hanuman Ki Ramayana Nautanki, which is based on a Puranic story. And my friend Devdutt Patnaik came up with that story and asked me to turn it into Nautanki. And Devdutt is a writer of mythology in India and has written many books. So I was interested, and I then asked my father, Guru Pandit Ramdayal Sharma ji, who has also got Padma Shri for propagating Nautanki. He's a legendary artist. And after Gulabbai was also a female Nautanki artist. She got Padma Shri, and my father is the first male artist from Nautanki who got Padma Shri. So I requested my father to turn into poetry of Nautanki on all the meters and chants, which he did. And then I directed the show, and it is about the humility. So Hanumanji writes Ramayana with Bhakti Bhav, and it is so beautiful that Valmiki ji say to him that if people read your Ramayana, nobody is going to read mine. And Hanumanji laughs, and Hanumanji say, no, I wrote it स्वांतः सुखाय, अपने लिए लिखा है मैंने इसको, और आपने जगत की भलाई के लिए लिखा है, to welfare of the world. So Hanumanji just उन्होंने पत्तों पे लिखी है. He has written this Ramayana on leaves, and he make a ball of all those leaves and eat them. And Valmiki is devastated that you have destroyed your masterpiece. But Hanumanji says, like, your Ramayana is much better for welfare of people. So let's listen to that. Let people should absorb your Ramayana. So it was a beautiful, and it was particularly popular among children and young adults. So that was one of the projects close to my heart, spreading Ramayana and Nautanki among younger adults. Similarly, Hewlett Foundation in San Francisco has commissioned me to create a Nautanki because these I was able to actually get California Art Council and Alliance for California Traditional Arts to count Nautanki as one of the traditional arts of California. So it is not only Indian now, it's a global form. So Hewlett asked me to create a Nautanki which can actually help propagate and preserve Nautanki. So that was a natural choice that I should select Nautanki, which means Sangeet Nautanki, the story of Nautanki. So it was called Sangeet Rani Nautanki Ka, Sangeet of Princess Nautanki, and which became so popular that the form got named Nautanki. So now people do not call it Sangeet, they usually call it Nautanki. So this was one of the most famous Sangeets of all time, Swang of all time. So I have chosen Princess Nautanki or Shahzadi Nautanki or Rani Nautanki Sangeet, and I'm working on it. And actually, wonderful artists of Bay Area are now involved in it. And I'm hoping, Rosh, that you will be part of it. And you yourself as a great actor. And I really want you to be involved in it. And hopefully you will be. And we are going to this wonderful Sangeet Rani Nautanki Ka in San Francisco, a theater called Counterpulse in downtown in March. And then we are also trying to stage this Nautanki or Sangeet at UC Berkeley Department of Theater, South Asia and Music. And after that, we are planning to do it maybe in South Bay. So these are our plans, and I'm very excited about it.
Awesome. We are super excited for you too, Professor Sharma, for you and your troupe in the Bay Area. And we're so excited that, international talent will also be part of this troupe. So it's going to be like a unique production, I believe, because usually जब हम perform करते हैं यहाँ local artists करते हैं, but I think this will be a unique production where, musicians from, across the continent, across the seven
Yes.
oceans, will be here.
Yes.
And of course, like you said, your legendary dad, Professor Sharma,
Yes.
who is a Padma Shri winner, which is India's fourth highest civilian award. He has blessed this show, and he's probably going to join you
Yes.
in this presentation. So it's never been done before in the Bay Area, something like this, with Padma Shri winner, a legendary performing arts artist. Especially coming here to give you the authentic swad of this ancient art form. So of course we learn more about it, where it will be presented, but also I'm going to request you and put you on the spot to share some snippets.
श्योर तो अभी हम लोग जो हैं ये जो संगीत रानी नौटंकी का जो कर रहे हैं, सो दिस इज अ वंडरफुल स्टोरी इन विच दिस नौटंकी इज द मोस्ट ब्यूटिफुल young woman of the country, and there is a commoner, an ordinary person, a young man named Phul Singh. And Phul Singh is from Punjab, and Nautanki is from Multan. And this is, we are talking about pre-partition India, when India was spread out from Iran to Southeast Asia. So Nautanki itni mashhoor hai, itni khubsurat hai, that all princes want to marry her. And sab log jate hain, but Nautanki is so intelligent and smart that she interviews them, and most of them, all of them are rejected. But the problem ye hai ki her father, whoever comes, any prince who comes or any person who comes to see Nautanki, if Nautanki rejects that person, her father, the king, gets them killed.
Oh my God.
Because this is a huge honor that you are meeting the princess, and then you cannot go out and talk rubbish about her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was the precondition, and all men knew that. So
they were literally putting their lives at risk
Yes.
for love. Oh my God.
yeah, love,
Yeah.
and this very well achieved women, very beautiful as well as very smart women. And this commoner, Phul Singh Punjabi, is happy-go-lucky, right? So one day, but he is master of many arts. So one day he comes back from shikar, hunting, and says to his bhabi, sister-in-law, "Bhabi, that मैं बहुत थका हुआ हूँ, मेरे लिए खाना बनाओ, मेरे लिए पानी गर्म करो, और मेरे लिए बिस्तर बिछा दो, और ये करो और वो करो," right? And the bhabi, sister-in-law, is really upset that he's taking her so much for granted, even though she loves him, but she was in a bad mood that day. And the bhabi says, so you think you are very beautiful, huh? You are very handsome, huh? You are the most good-looking man on earth, right? That you can just order around. If you are so handsome, why don't you go and get Nautanki as your wife?
The princess.
The princess. And now this person like Phul Singh, who is a very proud young man, is like really, really devastated by Bhabi's tana. And he goes out. People try to, family members try to stop him, but he doesn't listen to them. He goes out and does some tapasya and get Mahadev or Shivji and Parvati ji's Ashirwad, blessing. And Shivji and Parvati say, "Go, find your love, but you have to work hard. Nautanki is not going to come to you easily, right?" Okay, he says, "Yes, okay." And Rosh, I hope, I'm thinking of you doing Parvati, if you can do that role. But so he goes, and then he doesn't know how to even enter Nautanki's palace. It is heavily guarded. So he literally woos Nautanki's female gardener, Malin, and also gives her some money, some diamonds, and the Malin gets him inside the palace. And then he thinks of various ways to impress Nautanki. And the one thing that comes to his mind is, because I'm with Malin, and Malin goes every day to palace with these beautiful garlands and bouquets for Nautanki. I'm going to do some trick with this. And he makes beautiful garlands and bouquets and puts some jewels inside them.
Oh, wow.
And send it to Nautanki through Malin. And Nautanki sees those garlands and bouquets, and they are so beautiful that Malin could have never made them. She gets suspicious, and then suddenly she sees those diamonds inside garlands. And then she is kind of upset, and she says, Malin, who has made these beautiful flower garlands? And Malin says, no, I made it. And then Nautanki is even more furious, and Nautanki orders her to whoever she is hiding. And she said, actually, my sister's daughter-in-law has come, and I'm sorry, I could not tell you because I was really afraid. And Princess says, go and get her. And then Malin comes back and asks Phul Singh that what a mess he has created for her. Now, how can we get a female, right? Phul Singh says, I'm going to be that female. And what happens after that, how he wins Nautanki's heart, you have to come and watch our show.
Awesome. It's like a love story.
Yes, it is a love story.
Beautiful.
And the man has to work hard. And one thing that I want to tell, that at the end, when Phul Singh is going to be killed, who saves him? Nautanki. So Nautanki is the hero. Nautanki is the hero, not the heroine of this play. So that's why it became so popular, that a female protagonist, so strong protagonist, and we are talking about, this was written in 19th century, and it was so strong a woman that it became so popular, and people forgot Sangeet word. They started call this beautiful opera tradition as Nautanki. Yeah.
Very interesting.
And you were right that Babuji, my father, is coming, he's Padma Shri, but also other ustads, like, Nakara, wonderful Nakara player, our percussion instrument of Nautanki, not tabla, it's Nakara, and then Dholak, again another ustad, and then a harmonium ustad. So all these people are coming, these gurus are coming, and it will be a treat. So, as you say, maybe I can, from the story that I told, I can just gunguna, because, that just a little bit of singing, even though I cannot sing the full opera, because opera, this is sung in really high pitches, A sharp and G sharp, and I don't think the mics would be able to take it. But I'm going to sing a little bit, right? So
absolutely.
This is the first one, and I will try to give you a variety in the sense that Nautanki also has rags. So we have here Kafi, and we have Bhairavi, and we also have our Doha, Chaubola, and Kalingada, and Kala, and Dubola, all these different kind of poetical meters. So I'm start with Doha Chaubola, in which Phul Singh comes back from his hunting, and now he's demanding that his bhabi should do all those chores and all those seva and service for him, and which really upsets bhabi. So here Phul Singh. मैं अपने घर पर भला आया खेल शिकार, बाज लगाया थान से खोल धरे हथियार, खोल धरे हथियार, जल्द भावज तू पानी प्या दे, नहाएंगे इस वक्त गरम जल करने को धरवा दे, तुरंत भौजी करके खाना मुझको अभी खिला दे।
क्या बात।
और कमरे के अंदर निवाड़ का पलका मेरा बिछा दे, तू हुक्का ताजा कर दे, चिलम को ऊपर धर दे, जो जरा तू देर लगावे, भाभी देर नहीं होनी चाहिए, जो जरा तू देर लगावे, होवे अगर अबेर तो तन मेरे गुस्सा मेरे भर आवे। तो ये दिस इज द दोहा चाव बोला।
बहुत ही फ्री है अपनी भाभी के साथ वो एकदम।
भाभी उसको बहुत प्यार करती
बहुत
है
pampered
आज
है।
लेकिन आज भाभी को बुरा लग गया और भाभी क्या जवाब देती है देखिए।
हाँ।
दिवर हुकूमत आपकी हम पे सही न जाए, अजी देते सो दी जो मती मुझे नहीं परवाह, मुझे नहीं परवाह, आज तुम किस दिमाग में छाए, तत्ता पानी कर खाना सब हुक्म चलाते आए, पानी गरम कर दो, खाना गरम कर दो। सखुन हमारे देवर, सखुन आपके देवर, मेरे दिल में नहीं समाए, हमें अच्छे नहीं लगे आपकी बातें।
हाँ।
और जो जुनून ना, ये है वो डायलॉग है कि जो जुनून इतना नौटंकी नहीं ब्याह के लाए, जो इतना घमंड दिखा रहे हो, नौटंकी को ब्याह के लाए हो क्या? आपकी खिदमतदारी करेगी ब्याही नारी, जो तनख्वाह तुमरी खावे। और जो अभी भी बहुत ये बहुत लागू होती है बात, दिस इज ट्रू फॉर today's time, that women are now coming out of home, they are doing so many jobs and everything. So Bhabhi is saying that get someone who is on your salary, right?
Yeah.
She will work for you. I'm not going to work for you. जो तनख्वाह तुमरी खावे, अष्ट पैर हर घड़ी पेशवाई में वो ही आवे। So ये भाभी कहती है।
हाँ।
और आपके पास कुछ
तो भाभी इज द ओरिजिनल फेमिनिस्ट।
हाँ, भाभी इज द ओरिजिनल फेमिनिस्ट, राइट, हु इज डायरेक्टिंग हिम टू अनदर फेमिनिस्ट।
या
सो अगर टाइम हो तो आधे मिनट का और गा दें।
बिल्कुल
तो
बिल्कुल।
इसमें अब ये राग का एक आपको हम उदाहरण देते हैं। तो राग में जैसे अब भैरवी है और काफी है, तो काफी में जब बाद में जब उसका दिल आ जाता है और वो सोचती है कि ये जो फीमेल, ये जो विमेन जो आई है मेरे पास मेरे महलों में, अगर ये आदमी होती तो सिर्फ में शादी कर ले।
अमेजिंग। हाँ,
तो हाँ, बहुत ही बढ़िया है। तो वो
लव इन डिस्गाइज।
हाँ, लव इन डिस्गाइज। तो ये है बहुवर, ये काफी राग में नौटंकी गा रही है। बहुवर मरद बनायो बनायो, बहुवर मरद बनायो, पीर चेटक दिखलायो, बहुवर मरद बनायो। ये ताल चौताल में है। फंसी इश्क के अब फन दे में, नैनन ने लगायो, फंसी इश्क के अब फंदे में, नैनन ने लगायो। अब तो मुझे से इश्क हो गया है, अब कहाँ शर्म रही प्यारे ते, अब कहाँ शर्म रही प्यारे ते, अपने संग सुलायो, बहुवर मरद बनायो बनायो, बहुवर मरद बनायो।
क्या बात है, क्या बात है। और दिस इज सो ब्यूटीफुल एंड थैंक यू सो मच फॉर शेयरिंग दीज ज्वेल्स विद अस। ये जो फूल सिंह ने ज्वेल्स डाले थे गार्लैंड में नौटंकी के लिए, वैसे ही हो गए हमारे लिए। तो मेरे लिसनर्स बोल रहे होंगे कि कौन है ये जो हमें ऐसे गाने अच्छे ज्वेल्स सुना रहे हैं। एंड आई एम श्योर दे विल वांट you to keep coming back to our show and you know entertain them with similar stories and similar Nautanki pieces. तो इस लास्ट सेगमेंट में मैं जानना चाहती हूँ आपसे आपसे Professor Sharma ki, you've performed a lot. You've performed so many, in so many projects, so many productions. Of course, now you are doing Princess Nautanki. But what has been your most favorite performance to this date, and why? Because हमारा जो EnActe Talkease है, it's about promoting the performing arts, और बहुत सारे ऐसे youngsters हैं जो they want to take up performing arts as a profession. तो आप थोड़ा बताइए कि आपको आपकी inspiration क्या है, motivation क्या है, which was your favorite production, and what do you want to share with us about that?
Yes. So my first favorite show, when I was 8 years old, I was already singing, right, with my father in my father's troupe. But this was a performance in one of the most remotest, villages in Rajasthan. And my father had gone there. This was the village of my grandmother. And this Nautanki troupe went, and I was in audience. I can't tell you. There were around 30,000 people there, in the fields, 30,000 people. Right?
Wow.
And this was like a rock show, right? In the West, you call rock show. And my father was the hero. And I was really lucky, of course, because I was son of the hero. I was sitting on the stage.
You had the best seats.
Best seats. And my uncle was sitting with me. And it was such a great performance. I can't tell you. I had goose pimples. I have seen so many different kind of film shows and Western music shows and country, rock, pop, everything. But that was the best show I ever had and seen. And then, there were inams, when you, for instance, like even Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan would sing Qawwali, and people would put notes like bills, right? Near the harmonium.
Yeah.
And that night, I remember I was responsible for counting the bills that was coming from my father, and it was like a mountain of bills.
Oh my God! Okay, now I know why it's your favorite production. Paisa bolta hai.
But my father distributed it back to artists. So that was
sweet.
That was one of my favorite performances, and I again did it in Dalharan. In the US and University of Texas, the same performance, and it was amazing. But in the Bay Area, I still remember Sultana and Daku, which we did, and a theater group in the Bay Area invited me to direct it, and
it was a huge hit, right?
I
know about this one because it gets still spoken about in corners, and it has a legacy and a cult following of its own. मैं नहीं थी उस time Bay Area में, but मैंने सुना है. तो you must know that it was so popular that it still continues to be talked about.
And I have performed in Berkeley continuously, and with many other theaters and counterpulse. So this upcoming show has been my dream. So tell you the truth, Rosh, Princess Nautanki is, I think, now one of my favorites, and I really want to do it well, and I want you and other wonderful artists to be part of it, so that we can actually bring back Nautanki to its audiences.
Yeah, wow, in all its glory.
Yes, in all its glory.
That is so amazing. So, of course, मन तो नहीं कर रहा ये conversation, ये discussion end करने का, but, वक्त is our enemy. वक्त के बारे में क्या कहे दोस्तों, वक्त तो दिखता नहीं है, लेकिन वक्त बहुत कुछ दिखा जाता है ना? So, on that note, आज के लिए बस इतना ही. आज के लिए आपसे इजाजत लेना चाहेंगे. Professor Sharma, thank you so much. We are truly grateful from the bottom of our hearts that you agreed to come to our show and we were able to feature you. And friends, if you want to know about more about Professor Sharma, you can go to his website, which is www.devnautanki.com. Of course, his show, Princess Nautanki, is going to come very soon to the Bay Area. सारी details आपको Counter Pulse के website में मिल जाएगी. और EnActe के भी बहुत सारी जानकारी आपको मिल जाएंगी उनके website पे, which is www.enacte.org. And they have a very cool season, apparently, that they are planning, which they will be announcing very soon. So if you're not subscribed to their newsletter, please do. Or website pe dekhte rahiyega. So like I always said, I started the show saying that arts, theater cannot survive without the audience, without the people, without the community. And that is why we more now than ever need your love and support. And I have full faith in our listeners and in our Bay Area community कि आप लोग आएंगे और support करेंगे. Princess Nautanki ko, and of course, EnActe Arts ko. So on that note,
मैं आपको भी धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा रोश, आपने बहुत बुलाया और बहुत बड़ी ये सेवा है, सर्विस है नौटंकी के लिए कि आप पहुँचा रही हैं इसको वापस ऑडियंस के साथ. सो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
thank you so much. You have a very good weekend, Professor Sharma. Have a very good weekend, my listeners. It's the penultimate weekend before Valentine's Day. तो अगर आपने अभी तक Valentine shopping नहीं की है, please don't be late. Beat the crowd. Get to shop the most precious gifts for the most precious person in your life. So very early, happy Valentine's Day. And until we meet again, keep listening to Radio Sindagi 1550 AM GH.